Today, I want to talk about something quiet, but very heavy. That moment when you feel burned out, but you cannot quit. You wake up in the morning, and before your eyes are even fully open, you already feel tired. Not tired in the body, tired in the heart. You know you must continue. Work, study, family, dreams, responsibilities. And yet something inside you is whispering very softly, I don't know how much longer I can do this. If you are listening now and you feel this, I want you to know something very simple. You are not weak. You are human. I remember a morning like this very clearly. It was winter. The sky was still dark, even though it was already 6 in the morning. I sat on the edge of my bed, holding a cup of tea that was already cold. I had work that day, many classes, many faces, many smiles I would have to wear. But inside, I felt empty. Not sad, not angry, just empty. Have you ever felt that? Repeat after me, slowly. I feel empty. Say it again. I feel empty. Sometimes, when we learn English, we focus on big words, but small words often carry the heaviest feelings. Empty, tired, heavy. That morning, I did not want to teach. I did not want to speak. I did not want to explain anything to anyone. But I went. I put on my coat. I tied my shoes. I walked to the bus. And on the bus, I watched people. A woman holding a bag of vegetable. A young man with headphones, eyes closed. An old man looking out of the window, very still. Everyone looked calm, but I wondered, how many of them were also burned out? How many of them were thinking, I want to stop, but I can't? Let me teach you a very gentle sentence. Repeat after me. I'm tired, but I keep going. Again. I'm tired, but I keep going. This sentence is simple, but it describes the life of so many people. We live in a world that tells us to be strong, to continue, to not complain. We hear sentences like, don't give up, be grateful. Others have it worse. And sometimes these sentences help us, but sometimes they make us feel alone. Because we think, if I'm tired, maybe something is wrong with me. I want to tell you something very important. Feeling burned out does not mean you want to quit life. It often means you care very deeply. You care about your work, your family, your future. And caring for a long time without rest is very exhausting. I once had a student who came to class every evening. She worked all day in a factory, 8 hours standing. Then she came to study English. One day, she looked at me and said, very quietly, Teacher, I'm so tired, but I need English. I cannot stop. I did not correct her grammar. I did not explain the present perfect. I just listened. And I said, I know, you are very strong, but you are also very tired. She smiled. Sometimes the most helpful English sentence is not a perfect one. It is an honest one. Repeat after me. I'm doing my best. Again, I'm doing my best. When you feel burned out, your mind often becomes very noisy. You think about the past. I should have chosen another path. I made a mistake. I'm too late. You think about the future. What if this never ends? What if I fail? What if I waste my life? But very rarely do we stay in the present. So now I invite you to do something very small. If you are listening while sitting, feel the chair under you. If you are lying down, feel your body on the bed. Take one slow breath and say inside your mind, I am here. Again, I am here. Burnout often comes when we live too much in yesterday and tomorrow, and not enough in now. Let me tell you another short story. A few years ago, I almost stopped teaching. Not because I hated it, because I loved it too much. I prepared every lesson carefully. I listened to every student. I worried about their progress, their confidence, their future. And slowly, without noticing, I forgot about myself. One evening, I stayed alone in the classroom after everyone left. The lights were still on. The board was full of words, and I felt something strange. Not sadness, just a quiet question inside me. How long can I continue like this? This is a very important question. Repeat after me. How long can I continue like this? Sometimes we are afraid to ask this question because we think the answer will be dangerous. We think, if I ask this, I will quit. But often the opposite is true. When we ask this question gently, we begin to change how we continue. Not whether we continue, but how. Burnout does not always mean you need to quit your job, or leave your family, or stop learning English. Sometimes it means you need to change the way you walk on the same road. Slower, kinder, with more rest. I want to teach you a very useful expression. Repeat after me. I need a small break. Again. I need a small break. Not a big break, not a new life, not an escape. Just a small break. 5 minutes of silence, a short walk, a cup of tea without your phone. When we are burned out, we often think only in extremes. All or nothing. Continue or quit. Strong or weak. But life is usually lived in the middle. Let me say something that may be difficult to hear. You can continue and still admit that you are tired. These two things can live together. I will continue. I am very tired. Repeat after me. I will continue, but I am tired. Again. I will continue, but I am tired. This sentence is very honest. And honesty is a kind of rest. Many people who learn English with me tell me something like this. I want to improve, but I feel slow. I study every day, but I'm not confident. I'm tired of trying. I always answer the same way. You are not slow. You are human. Learning a language is not just learning words. It is learning patience, learning how to forgive yourself, learning how to continue gently. When you feel burned out but can't quit, maybe the lesson is not about stopping. Maybe the lesson is about listening. Listening to your body. Listening to your mind. Listening to the quiet voice inside you that says, please be kind to me. Let me give you one more sentence to practice. Repeat after me. I'm allowed to rest. Again. I'm allowed to rest. This sentence is very important because many people believe they must earn rest. They think, I can rest when I finish. I can rest when I succeed. I can rest when everything is perfect. But everything is never perfect. And rest is not a reward. Rest is a need. If you are listening now and you feel burned out, I want you to imagine something. Imagine you are talking to a close friend. This friend says, "I'm tired, but I can't quit." What would you say to them? Would you say, "You're weak"? No. You would probably say, "I understand. You've done so much. Please take care of yourself." Now, I want you to say these words to yourself. Repeat after me. I understand myself. Again. I understand myself. Burnout is not the end of your story. It is often a quiet message. A message that says, something needs to change, but you don't need to disappear to change it. Sometimes the change is small. Going to bed earlier, saying no one more time each week, studying a little less, but with more calm. Sometimes the change is simply the way you speak to yourself. Not, "I must be stronger," but, "I am already strong and I need rest." Let me say this slowly and you can listen. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are tired. And tired people need care, not punishment. As we come near the end of this quiet conversation, I want to leave you with one final thought. You do not have to quit to survive. Sometimes you just have to continue differently. With more breathing, more honesty, more kindness toward yourself. You are not just learning English. You are learning how to listen to your life, how to notice your limits, how to continue without losing yourself. And that is a very deep kind of learning. When you feel burned out but cannot quit, there is often a quiet fear that follows you through the day. The fear is not loud. It does not shout. It whispers. It says, "If I stop, everything will fall apart. If I rest, I will lose my chance. If I slow down, I will be left behind." And so, you continue. You smile at people. You answer messages. You finish tasks. You open your books. You listen to lessons. From the outside, you look fine. But inside, you feel like a candle that has been burning for a very long time. Not bright anymore, just still burning. I want to tell you something very gently. Burnout is not only about work, it is often about hope. When we hope for a long time and the result comes very slowly, the heart becomes tired before the body does. Maybe you hoped for a better job, a better life, a better version of yourself. Maybe you hoped English would open a door, or help you feel confident, or help you belong somewhere. And now, after many months or years, you are still walking, still trying, still waiting. That waiting can be very heavy. Repeat after me. I've been waiting a long time. Again. I've been waiting a long time. Sometimes burnout is not from doing too much. It is from waiting too long without seeing change. I once met a man who had studied English for 10 years. 10 years. He spoke slowly. He was shy. He often said, "Teacher, I'm tired. I study so long, but I'm still not good." I asked him, "Why do you continue?" He thought for a long time. Then he said, "Because one day, maybe, I can speak without fear." That answer stayed with me. Because many people continue not because they are strong, but because they are afraid. Afraid to waste their effort. Afraid to lose their dream. Afraid to admit they are tired. Fear can keep us moving, but fear is not a good fuel. It burns very fast, and it leaves nothing behind. Let me teach you a very honest sentence. Repeat after me. I'm afraid to stop. Again. I'm afraid to stop. This sentence is important because sometimes we are not continuing because we want to. We are continuing because we are afraid of what happens if we don't. And when fear is our only reason, burnout grows very quickly. I want you to listen carefully now. Continuing is not the same as forcing. You can continue and still be gentle. You can continue and still change your pace. You can continue and still say, "This is too much for me today." Let me give you another small phrase. Repeat after me. Today is heavy. Again. Today is heavy. Not every day is heavy, but some days are. And on heavy days, you do not need to carry everything perfectly. You only need to carry yourself safely to the end of the day. When I feel burned out, I often notice something interesting. My world becomes very small. I only see tasks, deadlines, problems. I forget the sky, the sound of birds, the feeling of warm water on my hands. Burnout makes life narrow. So sometimes the cure is not rest. It is widening your world again. Looking at one beautiful thing, listening to one song you love, talking to one person who understands you. Very small things, but very powerful. Repeat after me. I need something gentle. Again. I need something gentle. Learning English can also become heavy. You listen every day. You repeat. You memorize. And one day you feel tired of words. Tired of sounds. Tired of trying to be better. If this is you, I want to tell you something important. It is okay to learn slowly. It is okay to stop for a few days. It is okay to forget some words. Language is not a race. It is a long walk. And in a long walk, you must sometimes sit down. Not forever. Just for a moment. Let me tell you a quiet truth. Many people who never quit are not the strongest. They are the kindest to themselves. They know when to push, and they know when to protect. They do not say, "I must survive at any cost." They say, "I must live in a way I can continue living." This is a very different sentence. Repeat after me. I want to continue living well. Again. I want to continue living well. Burnout often comes when we forget why we started. We remember the goal, but we forget the reason. Maybe you started learning English because you loved the sound, because you wanted to talk to people, because you wanted to understand the world. But now, you only think about tests, jobs, money. These things are important, but they are not enough to feed the heart. So I invite you to remember something. Why did you start? Not what you want to get, but what you wanted to feel. Curious, free, confident, connected. Those feelings are still waiting for you. They are just quiet now, because you are tired. As we continue this quiet journey together, I want to speak to the part of you that feels very alone. The part that thinks, no one knows how tired I am. No one sees how hard this is. I must carry this by myself. I want you to hear this very clearly. You are not alone in this feeling. All over the world, right now, someone is sitting quietly and thinking, I'm so tired, but I can't quit. You are part of a very human story. And in this story, the hero is not the one who never gets tired. The hero is the one who learns how to rest without giving up on themselves. Let me give you one final sentence to practice. Repeat after me, slowly. I will take care of myself. Again, I will take care of myself. This sentence may sound simple, but for many people, it is the hardest sentence to live. If today you feel burned out, I do not ask you to quit. I do not ask you to be strong. I only ask you to be kind to your body, to your heart, to your tired mind. Continue, but continue gently. Continue slowly. Continue in a way that lets you remain yourself. Sometimes, when you feel burned out but cannot quit, the most painful part is not the work itself. It is the feeling that your life is on a narrow road and you cannot step off it. Every day looks similar. Wake up, work, study, sleep. And slowly, you begin to feel that time is passing, but you are not moving. Have you ever felt that? Repeat after me. I feel stuck. Again. I feel stuck. Feeling stuck is very common in burnout. Because burnout often happens when effort and progress are not equal. You give a lot, but you receive very little. Energy goes out, very little comes back. And the heart begins to ask, what is the point? This is a dangerous question, not because it is wrong, because it is very lonely. I remember a period in my life when every day felt like a copy of the day before. I woke up tired. I worked. I taught. I helped others. And at night, I lay in bed and thought, is this all? Not in a sad way. In a quiet, empty way. Sometimes, burnout is not dramatic. It is silent. No tears, no anger. Just a slow loss of meaning. Repeat after me. I miss meaning. Again. I miss meaning. When meaning becomes weak, even small tasks feel heavy. And this is why many people feel burned out even when their life looks successful. Not email. Because success without meaning is a very tiring place to live. Let me tell you something important. Meaning is not found in big achievements. It is found in small moments of connection. A good conversation. A sincere thank you. A moment when you feel understood. If you feel burned out, ask yourself this gently. When was the last time I felt truly connected? Not productive. Connected. To a person, to nature, to yourself. Very often, burnout is not from doing too much. It is from feeling too alone while doing it. Repeat after me. I need connection. Again, I need connection. Learning English for many people is a lonely journey. You listen alone. You study alone. You repeat alone. And you often think, I am the only one who feels this slow. I am the only one who makes these mistakes. But this is not true. Every learner walks through confusion, through doubt, through tiredness. The difference is not who feels it. The difference is who learns to be gentle with it. Let me share a small habit that helps me when I feel burned out. At the end of the day, I ask myself one question. Not, what did I achieve? But, what did I survive today? Maybe I survived a difficult conversation, a long meeting, a day of low energy. Survival is also a kind of success. Repeat after me. I survived today. Again, I survived today. This sentence may sound small, but on hard days it is very big. When you feel burned out but cannot quit, your mind often becomes very strict. You say things like, I should be better. I should be faster. I should not feel like this. The word should is very heavy. It carries judgment, pressure, shame. So I invite you to try another word. Instead of should, try maybe. Maybe I need rest. Maybe I need help. Maybe this is enough for today. Repeat after me. Maybe this is enough for today. Again. Maybe this is enough for today. This sentence opens a door. A small door to kindness. Let me tell you another story. I once met a woman who was caring for her sick mother. She worked during the day. She cared for her mother at night. Every day she looked calm. But one evening she said to me, I cannot quit, but I'm disappearing. Those words were very strong. I'm disappearing. Repeat after me. I feel like I'm disappearing. Again. I feel like I'm disappearing. Burnout often feels like this. Not pain, loss of self. You forget what you like, what you want, what makes you feel alive. So sometimes, the most important thing is not rest. It is remembering yourself. Doing one small thing that is only for you. Listening to music, writing a few lines, walking without a goal. Very simple acts, but they say to your heart, you still matter. Repeat after me. I still matter. Again, I still matter. If you are listening now and you feel very tired, I want to tell you something very slowly. You do not have to solve your whole life today. You do not have to decide everything now. You only have to take care of this one moment. This one breath, this one evening, this one page of your life. Burnout tells us big stories. I will always be tired. This will never change. My life is wrong. But burnout is not a prophet. It is a signal. A signal that something inside you needs attention, not punishment. Attention! So tonight, or today, or whenever you are listening, I invite you to do one small thing. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? Not tomorrow, not next year. Right now. And listen very carefully to the answer. It may be I need sleep. I need silence. I need to talk. I need to stop for a moment. Whatever it is, try to respect it. Because continuing without listening is how burnout becomes very deep. You are not a machine. You are a human being. With limits. With feelings. With a heart that needs care. And learning English, living life, working, loving. All of these are not about being perfect. They are about staying alive inside yourself. As we continue this quiet path together, remember this. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where a tired, honest human being often is. And that is not a bad place to be. It is a place where change can begin. Gently, slowly, with kindness. There is one more quiet feeling that often lives inside burnout. It is not tiredness. It is not sadness. It is numbness. You still move. You still work. You still speak. But you do not feel much. Good news does not make you happy. Bad news does not make you cry. You just continue. Have you ever felt this? Repeat after me. I feel numb. Again, I feel numb. Numbness is the body's way of protecting you. When feelings are too heavy for too long, the heart closes a little. Not forever. Just enough to survive. But when we live in numbness for a long time, life becomes very flat. No deep pain, but also no deep joy. And this is why burnout can feel like you are living behind a glass wall. You see life, but you do not touch it. If this is you, I want to tell you something important. Numbness is not the end. It is a pause. A pause before feelings slowly come back. But they only come back when you feel safe enough to feel again. And safety begins with kindness. Not pressure. Not forcing. Kindness. Let me teach you a very gentle sentence. Repeat after me. It's okay to feel nothing right now. Again. It's okay to feel nothing right now. This sentence does not mean you will feel nothing forever. It only means you stop fighting yourself today. When I was very burned out once, I noticed something strange. I stopped noticing small things. The taste of food, the color of the sky, the sound of rain. Everything became background. So I made a very small promise to myself. Every day I would notice one thing. Just one. A tree, a sound, a smile. And slowly, very slowly, feeling came back. Not strong, but real. Repeat after me. I will notice one small thing today. Again. I will notice one small thing today. Burnout often makes us think in very big questions. What is my purpose? What is the meaning of my life? What should I do with my future? These are important questions. But when you are tired, big questions are very heavy. So sometimes, the best thing is to ask smaller questions. What can I do to make this hour easier? What would make this evening calmer? What do I need to let go of today? Small questions save energy. Let me give you another sentence. Repeat after me. I don't have to decide everything today. Again. I don't have to decide everything today. This sentence is very powerful. Because burnout often comes from trying to carry the whole future on your shoulders. But the future is not yours to carry today. Today only needs today. There is also another feeling that often hides inside burnout. Guilt. You feel guilty for resting, guilty for complaining, guilty for wanting more, guilty for not being grateful enough. Repeat after me. I feel guilty for being tired. Again. I feel guilty for being tired. This guilt is very unfair, because tiredness is not a choice. You did not choose to be exhausted. You did not choose to feel empty. It came from giving too much for too long. So let me say this very clearly. You do not need to apologize for being tired. Not to your boss, not to your family, not to yourself. Fatigue is not a moral failure. It is a human signal. When you feel burned out but cannot quit, you often become very lonely inside, even if people are around you, because you think, if I tell the truth, I will be weak. If I tell the truth, I will disappoint people. If I tell the truth, I will lose something. So you stay silent. Repeat after me. I hide my tiredness. Again. I hide my tiredness. Hiding is exhausting. Sometimes, the beginning of healing is telling one safe person the truth. Not everything. Just one sentence. I'm not okay lately. I'm very tired inside. I need someone to listen. You do not need to solve your life with them. You only need to not be alone with it. Connection does not remove burnout, but it makes it lighter. Let me share another quiet truth. Many people who feel burned out are very responsible people. They keep promises, they do not want to disappoint, they carry others. And because they are strong, no one notices how tired they are. Sometimes, the strongest people are the ones who most need permission to rest. So I want to give you that permission now. You have permission to slow down. Repeat after me. I give myself permission to slow down. Again. I give myself permission to slow down. Slowing down does not mean giving up. It means changing your speed so you do not break. There is a beautiful idea I want to share with you. In many cultures, people believe that when a person is very tired, their soul is tired too. And the cure is not medicine. It is gentleness. Being spoken to softly, being allowed to rest, being reminded of who they are. So let me remind you of who you are. You are not just a worker, not just a student, not just a role. You are a living person with feelings, dreams, and limits. And limits are not your enemy. Limits are what keep you alive. As we walk slowly toward the end of this long, quiet reflection, I want to say something very honest. Burnout does not disappear in one day. It leaves slowly. When you rest a little more, when you judge yourself a little less, when you listen to yourself a little better. It is not a miracle. It is a relationship. A new relationship with yourself. One where you are not only a tool for results, but a person worthy of care. If you remember only one sentence from today, let it be this one. Repeat after me, very slowly. I am more important than my exhaustion. Again, I am more important than my exhaustion. You are not here only to produce, not only to succeed, not only to survive. You are here to live, to feel, to connect, to grow. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is not to quit, but to change the way you continue. With softness, with patience, with respect for your own heart. There is another quiet belief that often lives inside people who feel burned out but cannot quit. The belief is this: my value comes from what I do. If I work hard, I am valuable. If I succeed, I am valuable. If I help others, I am valuable. And slowly, without noticing, you begin to think that if you stop doing, you stop being someone important. Repeat after me. My value is not only in what I do. Again, my value is not only in what I do. This sentence is very important, because many people burn out not because they work too much, but because they believe they are only loved, respected, or needed when they are useful. So they never rest. They never say no. They never ask for help. They become a pillar for everyone else and forget that pillars also need support. Let me tell you a small story. I once knew a teacher who never missed a day of work, even when he was sick, even when he was sad. One day he suddenly stopped coming. People were surprised. When he came back weeks later, he said something very simple. I forgot how to be a person. I only knew how to be a teacher. Those words stayed with me, because burnout often steals your identity. You become your role, your job, your duty. And you forget the simple question: what do I like as a human being? Repeat after me. I am more than my role. Again, I am more than my role. When you feel burned out, it is very common to feel angry with yourself. You say, why am I like this? Others can do it. Why can't I? I'm weak. This kind of self-talk is very dangerous, because it turns tiredness into shame, and shame makes burnout much deeper. So I invite you to change the way you speak to yourself. Not, what is wrong with me? But, what has been too heavy for too long? Repeat after me. What has been too heavy for me? Again. What has been too heavy for me? This question is full of compassion. It does not blame. It tries to understand. There is also another trap inside burnout: comparison. You look at others. They seem faster, stronger, more successful, more confident. And you think, why am I the only one who is tired? But you only see their outside. You do not see their nights, their fears, their private struggles. Comparison steals energy. So let me give you a very protective sentence. Repeat after me. I don't know their story. Again. I don't know their story. And another one. My story is enough for today. Again. My story is enough for today. Burnout also changes the way we see the future. The future becomes very heavy. Not exciting. Just something to survive. So sometimes, instead of thinking about years, it is healthier to think about seasons. This season of your life may be very demanding. Another season may be softer. Life is not one long winter, even if it feels like that now. Repeat after me. This is a season, not my whole life. Again, this is a season, not my whole life. There is a beautiful and difficult truth I want to share. Sometimes we cannot quit the situation, but we can quit the way we treat ourselves inside the situation. We can quit cruelty. We can quit impossible standards. We can quit silence. And that already changes a lot. Let me teach you a sentence that many strong people need. Repeat after me. I need help. Again. I need help. This sentence is not weakness. It is wisdom. Because no human being was designed to carry everything alone. If you are learning English and you feel tired, you do not need to study harder. Sometimes you need to study kinder. Shorter sessions, more listening, less forcing, more enjoyment, less pressure. Language grows better in calm soil, not in fear. When you feel burned out but cannot quit, you may also feel afraid of one thing. You may be afraid that if you stop pushing, you will become lazy. But rest does not create laziness. Rest creates clarity. It helps you see what matters, what does not, what can wait, what cannot. Repeat after me. Rest helps me see clearly. Again. Rest helps me see clearly. Let me say something very gently. You do not need to become a new person to heal from burnout. You only need to return to yourself, to the person you were before everything became so heavy. The person who laughed more easily, who was curious, who had dreams that were not only about survival. That person is not gone, just tired, very tired. So if today you feel burned out, I don't ask you to be brave. I ask you to be honest. Honest about your limits, honest about your needs, honest about your pain. Because honesty is the beginning of care, and care is the beginning of change. You are not here to suffer silently. You are here to live, slowly learning how to protect your own life. And as you continue, step by step, day by day, remember this. You are not late. You are not broken. You are simply a human being who has been strong for a very long time. And now it is time to be gentle. As we come to the very end of this long, quiet journey together, I want to leave you with a feeling, not a lesson. A feeling that you can carry with you after the sound of my voice is gone. When you feel burned out but cannot quit, it is easy to believe that your life is only about endurance, about surviving, about holding on, about not falling. But your life is more than that. Even now, in tiredness, there is still something gentle inside you. The part of you that listens, the part of you that hopes, the part of you that did not quit today. That part is very important. Repeat after me one last time, very slowly. I am still here. Again, I am still here. This sentence is simple, but it means everything. You are still here. Still breathing, still learning, still trying to understand yourself. And that is already a kind of victory. You do not need to have a perfect plan. You do not need to know the future. You only need to keep choosing a little more kindness, a little more honesty, a little more care for yourself. One day at a time. One breath at a time. One gentle decision at a time. If today was heavy, let today be heavy. Tomorrow does not need to carry all of today's weight. And if you are tired now, let tired be tired. Rest is not the end of your story. It is the place where the next part begins. Thank you for walking this slow path with me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for trusting this quiet space. This is English with Thomas. I'm Thomas. Keep speaking, keep growing, and keep trusting yourself.